All right, guys, welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you're your first time here. What we have today is Hcalory sent us over a new diesel heater. Super excited about this one. This is the TB2, the 2025 model. They made some changes between it and the 2024. Let's get this guy opened up and see what we got in the box, and then we'll go through the setup of it. I got a few little things that I do with diesel heaters just to make sure of a couple of things. So we'll do those, and then we'll get it fired up. We'll burn it in, and we'll see how well it works. Well, today for our cutting and opening pleasure is our Spyderco Mannix, and this one is in S110V. All right, so in the box, this is going to be all of our ancillary parts that we need, the intake hose, exhaust, all that sort of stuff. We'll get it out. Instructions, oh, wind's whipping. Instruction book, actually, believe it or not, it's a book. You know, half the time it's about 6 pages of just some little pamphlet, but it's got very detailed user instructions with pictures, which I'm a fan of. And let's pull it out of here. All right, so right out the gate, as you saw when we took it out, it's got a nice handle on top, not just some little shallow one, you know, that's always a pain. And it folds down flat. That's huge as far as storing stuff. So one of the main features that I do like is the basically enclosed feature of it. So it's got the the latches up here. This folds down. Actually, it'll fold all the way down if you want it to. Not really necessary. Fuel tank is located right here. This is actually the heater mechanism. Inside here we have, oh, they've got our remote. Struggle is real. Okay, got that. Put that in our pocket so we don't lose it. So inside here, I like to make sure that we check the connections in here. I'll bring you closer. So these connections, I want to make sure all of these are seated the way they should be, nothing wiggled loose. There are some clamps back here, just like this one. Make sure everything's tight, doesn't want to move. Make sure the fuel line, which is this green one here, make sure it's completely seated, doesn't want to move. You can just kind of inspect, the screws and whatnot. I mean, these, came a long way, so anything could happen. These right here are vents, right here. A little bit of venting there. There's also some venting at the bottom, which I'll show you, just for airflow and such. And this is our exhaust pipe here. And then right here, if you look in there maybe, I can see the other half, or the bottom half of the fuel line. Make sure that's on there good, which it is. This is our, for our exhaust. That's how that's going to come out. And this is where the hot air will come out. This is our intake side of the house. Here's where we plug in here. And then here's our control panel. So in the box we have, this is our muffler. This is our exhaust pipe right here. This is our intake tube. This would be our 12-volt power cord. This is our, the heat vent that comes out. These things are almost useless. I only use them, I actually put them inside a flexible hose, just because right where it comes out of the heater, it can get pretty hot. So I'll actually just use this as just kind of a buffer. Oops. This is a little filter for the intake. This is a diverter for the end of the exhaust hose, or not exhaust hose, but the air exhaust hose. Some miscellaneous brackets and the miscellaneous clamps for clamping everything together. And inside this box, we have our 110 version. These units sometimes have a hard time starting up. They use quite a bit of amperage to get the heating mechanism going. And I know that sometimes they can be fickle. Any of them can be fickle with your using the 12 volt power supply. So I just like to be able to have an option. And so having the 110 side of it, I do like, even though, using the 110 inverter on your inverter, it's not the most efficient, but in a pinch, if you had to, it's just nice to have that backup. All right, let's get some of our components installed here. Guess we can go ahead and start with the intake tube. That's what these smaller clamps are going to be for. One for this side and one for the other side. So we'll put one on like that. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to try and pre-tighten it. And then we'll just fit it in there, hopefully. Get a little tighter maybe. There we go. That'll hold it. That'll hold it good enough. And then I want to be able to pull this out for transport, very easily. So we're going to make this to where it's just a snug fit. Probably right there is pretty good. Do that. We'll put our other clamp on here. Twist this guy on here. Okay, just like that. One of these brackets. So there's two of these. One's for the exhaust, one is for the intake. And it goes, up here in this neighborhood. And then this would go up through it. But I'm not going to use that. That way, one, it's going to be in the way of the control panel. And two, I just want to be able to pull this off quickly and go. And we'll get it turned around here. We'll go ahead and put our exhaust on here. Now, this is also something that I'm probably not going to use. I will probably just take the muffler, because this sits on a metal rack that hangs off my tire. And so I don't have to worry about the heat, melting things. So what I'll probably try and do here is find a way to mount this guy directly on here like that. Do this side first. Again, you would put a clamp here if it was going to be the permanent solution, which it's not. And then here on the muffler, however you orient these, they have a little drain hole right there, if you can see it. And so you want to make sure that that's always pointed down. If you're, if you have it in a horizontal position like that, make sure that hole is down. That's just so any of the condensation and, from the machine can drip out. So we'll leave that muffler off for now. All right, I'm going to take this off, move this over here. I'm going to put some fuel in this real quick, just a little bit, so we can run it and get it all burnt in. And I'll bring you back when we're ready to go. All right, we've got our fuel in it. When we were filling this up, it was kind of nice. There's a filter right here, actually in the tank. I'll use gloves because you get diesel on you. It's hard to get off. So it's got a nice little filter right there. It's the first time I've seen that on one of these heaters. Now, I figure we'd just set it up like I'm gonna. So just like that, that's where it sits. That's where they all sit. Cord, plug it into this guy. Bring this around. And this has a little power light right there, so we know the power's on. This goes in with the cord pointed up, which is nice. And we'll just put that guy right there. Should be out of the way, no problem. You can see there's our power. So it says power, so we've got our 13 volts on. We will turn it down to 1. We will let it do its thing. Yeah, I don't know if you can see that or not. You can see it's showing air moving right here and coming out. So it's doing its pre-warm up. We'll let this guy start making some heat, and then we'll talk about it as it ramps up, and then we'll run it through all its speeds and all its temperatures. I've got a temperature gun. I'm going to get that out, and we'll see if that'll actually work on this or not. We can give it a try, though. Okay, I can smell exhaust. So, yep, a little bit coming out. You can kind of see it, maybe. Air's starting to just warm up a touch, but you can actually probably hear it a little better, too. See if we can put the microphone down. And there's the ticking. Right, so as these things get all ramped up, which it has, we've got nice warm air now. The sound of the heater virtually blocks the ticking sound, and the ticking sound dissipates. So we'll slide our little vent hose on here. I'm doing that because I want to try and get some temperature readings right here. If I do it inside here near that mechanism, it's going to be false. You know, it's going to be 200 plus degrees in there. We'll even put this guy on. Right, this is the setting that I use when I put it into the rooftop tent. Basically, it's just enough warm air coming in, more than anything, to kill the condensation. So one's always a good number just to take the edge off. If you like to sleep warm, which I don't, I like to sleep cold, by all means crank it all the way up. And if you have a much larger area to, to heat up, you'll obviously want to have to turn it up. If you got a big 12 by 12, awning room, or not awning room, but yeah, I guess it could be an awning room. Any kind of room that you congregate in, you'll need more heat than this to keep that warm. Or if you're going to use this in at home in a shed, a workshop, things like that. All right, I think what we'll do is we'll take it up to 2, just like that. But a few things I want to talk about on this guy. One is this hose right here. So for whatever reason, they went with a 3.5-inch hose. Try to find one. I've looked everywhere to try and find a 3.5-inch hose that is exhaust rated, for like a dryer hose. It's either 4-inch or 3-inch. So basically I bought a 4-inch that will just slide over this and clamp it. And will be the 4-inch. But it's supposed to run. I don't want to neck it down to a 3 just because I want to get as much out of it as I can. So we got it there. Right now, currently running as it is using 25 to 30 watt hours to hold at this temperature. So that's not too shabby. 10 hours gets you 250 watt hours, roughly, say 300. It has the equivalency of about 27,000 BTUs. It runs on a 6-liter fuel tank, which most of the ones out on the market now, and the older ones, all roughly had a 1-gallon tank. So we get a little bit more fuel, which allows us to run longer. It is about 21 pounds when it's empty and about 27 pounds when it's full. Now, they say, as far as the power is concerned, it's supposed to be able to run it on 110 or 220 or 12 or 24 volts. So it's supposed to be able to handle all of that no matter what you plug it into. The other part of this about power is that the cord they send is not a standard plug-in 12-volt receptacle. It's got ring tips on it for connecting straight to a battery. And I believe it's that way because I do believe this thing really sucks up a bunch of juice, uses a lot of amps, when it first fires up. I think it was running close to 100 watts during the fire up period. 78 I saw, and then 85, and then 90. But this can be connected. You could buy the insertable 12 volt and just easily connect it. But in all reality, if you were going to be in super cold temperatures, I'd almost want to have this connected to an actual battery and not a lithium battery, an AGM battery or just a straight up lead acid battery. They'll get you all night long, no problem. And, I've started trucks, at negative 30 degrees. Battery worked just fine. A little slow, but it worked just fine. So I've had trouble with lithium batteries in the 20s. So food for thought on that one. We'll get this connected after we run through the rest of our tests here, get the rest of our numbers. But I just thought I'd go over the fun facts that we have. It does have a altitude meter. We are at 6,800 feet right here. And this thing has no issues whatsoever. It says it's good till 20,000 feet. I don't know about all that, but it's just running like a champ. So let's crank her up one. Matter of fact, we will do that with our app. We'll give it a plus, and she went up to 3. So we have the way to run it with this key fob, you know, from like in your tent or wherever. And then they also have an app. In the app, you can see a lot more stuff, and we'll do an overlay of that. What I am going to do, though, since we're to that point, is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to prop this one end up right here, like that, because the fuel needs to pool up on this end. And I want to make sure that we get every bit of fuel down there, because I want to run this fairly dry, just so I'm not hauling around a bunch of diesel in it. That's on 3. That's hot. I mean, that's right here. That's it. That's as long as I can hold my hand there. So let's crank her up to 4. We'll get her on next one. See what she's doing. See if she starts sucking any more power. She's still hovering at 25 to 30. And the nice thing is that I'm not hearing any ramping up of the sound all the way up through 4. It's just staying nice and smooth. It's just getting a little warmer and a little warmer and a little warmer. So we'll take, wherever we did with it, it's our pocket. Take our remote, go up to the next one. Next one's 5. 5 is, then there's a 6, a 7, an 8, 8, and a 9, and a 10. And 10 is max. Okay, so on high, the noise has ramped up. You can feel the fan going in, and yeah, that's getting hot. Very hot. You can feel it all the way over here. It's like 10 degrees cooler right here, or warmer right there. All right, so let's let it finish, let it burn out its fuel. Not quite, because I want it to go through a cool down process. These all have a cooling down process that they do. And so you should never just unplug them or just kill the juice to them totally. You know, go through the motions where you turn it off, and then it'll sit here and run for quite a while, just cooling down the heating elements and purging all the diesel exhaust and everything out of it. So, and here's our battery. So basically, I just take a battery, just like that. Probably can't see it down there. Right here, you can see it. With our power cord, plug it in. I'll probably use these batteries until it gets too cold, because this is 1280 watt hours. So I'll probably end up just setting it right on the tire and powering it that way. So you can kind of see everything that's here now. You can see as we went through all the way up to 10, it was red. You know, when at 1 and 2, it was in the green. Probably, I think, 3, and then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, so each one of those is one setting up. Yeah, it also has a timer function, which none of my other ones do, which is super cool. So if you just wanted to set a timer for, 2 hours just to heat up your tent before you got into it, you could totally do that, and it would just shut off. Or you could just go to bed and let it run for just a couple hours, rather than having to wake yourself back up and turn it off. While we're letting this burn off some fuel, yeah, that's hot. We will try and set up our app. All right, so we'll select the app. We will select the unit. It's showing this as the Hcalory 5775. We'll select that. It's connecting. All right, it's showing that we're on setting number 10 right there. We can turn it up and down here. It says we're at a high plateau, so it knows we're at a higher altitude. You can change the mode right there. It's at gear, so that's for they call the temperature settings up and down gears. Or you can have it show the temps. So it was showing that it was on number 10, but now it's showing that it's 61 degrees Fahrenheit, whatever that means. Maybe the outside temp of it, because it is fairly cool up here. Oh, the ambient temp is 59, yeah. So we'll have to make some setting changes here to get it into unit measurements. So it's on, we need it in feet, we need it in Fahrenheit, which is good. Let's go back. So there you go. It says it thinks we're at 65.94. We're actually higher than that a little bit. So, but not terrible. That's not a bad assessment of it. So it says it's using the 13 volts. You can auto start, auto stop. You got scenes, you got indoors. So, and then you have for like a tent, an auto stop, auto start. You can build custom scenes for whatever your situation is. But yeah, I mean, it's a pretty intuitive app. Can't complain there. And I don't know that we can get it much hotter. Oh, yeah, there we go. So, even though we had it on 10, here's where you can really ramp up the temperature. The highest is 104 degrees. So, oh yeah, that's much hotter. So that just tells you that that heat gun didn't do anything. But so now it's max setting. Temperature. Yeah. Anyway, there you go. All right, we're going to take a couple more shots here. This guy, so the exhaust pipe right there where it connects, it's about 175 degrees. About 98 degrees right there. So not too shabby. We're going to take our remote. We're going to press off. And we'll let her do her shut down and cool down. Shutting down. And then it'll just sit here and idly blow air out of it until it feels itself is sufficiently cooled. So, all right, guys. Well, she stopped running. She's done. Basically, just saying it has power. Fan's not blowing anymore. So, this is already sufficiently cool. We'll put it back in its original box to transport it home, and then we'll take the hot parts and just put them in the back of the truck. But I think we're going to wrap the video here. So I hope you enjoyed it. So far, I can tell you right now, I'm kind of digging this one because I like the readability of the screen and I like the app. You know how I like about, or how I feel about apps. There will be a link down in the description. They are having a Black Friday sale. Again, I won't say the price just because it could change, but check it out. Totally worth it for the money. But, you know, do me a favor if you would. Like, subscribe, comment. Definitely comment. Leave comments down there if you have different experiences with this, if you've had some troubles with it, if you have maybe some other tips and tricks, and maybe if you have to correct me from some of the things I said, because it's quite possible I could have, you know, said the wrong thing, misspoke, or not had the right information. So do me a favor, leave it down below. It helps everybody if you do that. And I'm a big boy. You know, can't hurt my feelings. So thanks again for watching, guys, and we'll see you guys on the next video.